Ladies and gentlemen, we are living in a time where our phones wake us up, social media consumes our mornings, and notifications control our attention like a remote in someone else's hand. Think about it. When was the last time you sat in silence with no phone, no screen, no distraction, just you and your thoughts? For many, it's been years. We've become prisoners of the very devices that were meant to set us free. Every ding, every ping, every red dot on your screen is not just a notification. It's a distraction. And distractions, if left unchecked, will rob you of your dreams. Because success doesn't belong to the distracted. It belongs to the focused, the disciplined, the intentional. Your brain was not built to multitask between endless reels, emails, and messages. It was built to create, to imagine, to dream, and to execute. But how can you build a great life if your focus is scattered into 1,000 pieces? I want you to understand something powerful today. Your attention is the new gold. Companies spend billions to capture it. They study your habits, they design apps to keep you scrolling, and they know your weakness better than you do. But if you don't take back control of your attention, you'll spend your life feeding someone else's dream instead of building your own. A digital detox isn't about abandoning technology. It's about using it as a tool, not becoming its servant. It's about creating boundaries. No phone at dinner, no screen before bed, no endless scrolling when you should be working on your goals. Imagine what could happen if you replaced just 1 hour of screen time with 1 hour of self-improvement. Reading, exercising, building a skill, or working on your vision. That 1 hour a day could transform your entire future. Ladies and gentlemen, this is not just about phones, it's about freedom. Freedom to think clearly, to create boldly, and to live intentionally. You cannot hear the whispers of your purpose when the noise of the world is constantly blasting in your ears. Step back, log out, turn off, and in that silence you will find clarity. In that clarity you will find strength. And with that strength, you will find the power to shape a life that belongs to you, not to the algorithm. So today, I challenge you, unplug to recharge. Step away from the screen so you can step into your destiny. Your dreams are waiting. Your greatness is calling. Don't let distraction be the thief that steals it from you. Your attention is the most valuable currency you will ever have. More valuable than money, more valuable than opportunities, and more valuable than any possession you can hold in your hand. Because where your attention goes, your life flows. Think about it. Everything you have achieved up until now is the result of what you chose to give your attention to. And everything you failed to achieve, it's not because you didn't have the ability, but because your attention was scattered, divided. Distractions are not just little interruptions, they are dream killers. Every time you reach for your phone, scroll endlessly, or jump from one notification to the next, you are trading your future for temporary noise. You might not feel it in the moment, but every second spent chasing distractions is a second stolen from your vision, your growth, and your destiny. The truth is simple. What you give your time to will either build you up or break you down. And if you're not careful, distractions will build a cage so comfortable you won't even realize you're trapped inside. Think about how many times you've set out to work on your goals, only to be pulled into a spiral of meaningless scrolling. Minutes become hours and hours become days. And when you look back, you realize nothing has changed. That is the silent danger of distraction. It doesn't announce its presence with a bang. It steals from you quietly, little by little, until one day you wake up and wonder where all the time went. Distractions are the reason why people with massive potential never unlock it. They are the reason brilliant ideas never get executed. They are the reason dreams remain dreams. But here's the truth. Focus creates freedom. When you train your mind to lock in on what truly matters, You give yourself the power to break free from mediocrity. Focus is what separates the good from the great, the average from the exceptional, the distracted dreamer from the disciplined achiever. Every champion you admire, every leader you respect, every person who has built something remarkable, they all had distractions. They had noise, they had temptations, but what they also had was a choice to say, no, I will not allow these distractions to derail my destiny. I will give my focus only to the things that feed my vision. That is the choice you must make every single day. It won't be easy. Your environment is designed to keep you distracted. The world is pulling at you from every direction, demanding your attention. But when you take control and choose focus over distraction, you step into a rare group of people who understand what freedom really is. Freedom isn't having endless time. Freedom is using your time intentionally. So make a decision today. Eliminate the noise. Guard your focus like your life depends on it, because it does. Every distraction you eliminate is a step closer to clarity. Every time you choose focus, you break free from the chains holding you back. And when you learn to master your focus, you don't just create success, you create freedom. Break the addiction before it breaks you. That's the message. Because make no mistake, constant scrolling, endless notifications, and the urge to check your phone every few minutes is not just a habit, it's an addiction. And like every addiction, it robs you silently of your energy, your clarity, and your potential. You may think you're in control, but the truth is many people can't go 5 minutes without reaching for their phone. That's not freedom. That's bondage. That's living in a prison without walls. This addiction feeds on your need for stimulation. Every ping, every red dot, every vibration, it gives you a hit of dopamine, a false sense of importance, a temporary rush. But here's the danger. It keeps you trapped in a cycle where you're always reacting, never creating. You're consuming, not producing. You're scrolling through other people's lives while neglecting your own. And if you're not careful, one day you'll wake up realizing you spent more time living on a screen than building a life worth living. Breaking this addiction is not about rejecting technology altogether. It's about reclaiming control. You don't need to throw your phone away. You need to decide how it serves you instead of how it enslaves you. That means setting boundaries. That means saying no to endless scrolling. That means turning off notifications that don't matter. Because until you take control, this addiction will continue to take from you your time, your peace, your relationships, and your dreams. Ask yourself, what would your life look like if you invested even half the time you spend on your phone into your vision? What would happen if you replaced hours of distraction with hours of learning, creating, or building? The truth is, you would be unrecognizable. You would be stronger, wiser, sharper, and closer to the life you deserve. But to get there, you have to confront the addiction. You have to acknowledge that the comfort of scrolling is costing you greatness. You have to admit that this temporary escape is keeping you stuck in a permanent cycle of mediocrity. And once you see it for what it really is, you can begin to break free. It starts with small steps. Put the phone down when you're with your family. Leave it in another room while you work. Create tech-free zones in your life. And every time you resist the urge to check that screen, you're not just breaking a habit. You're building discipline. You're building freedom. You're building a future where you control your time instead of wasting it. Remember this, the device in your hand is a tool. It was never meant to control you. It was meant to serve you. Don't let it steal your focus, your clarity, or your future. Break the addiction now, or it will break you later. The choice is yours. Mental clarity doesn't happen by accident. It's not something that just falls into your lap one morning when you wake up. It's a choice. It's the result of intentional living. And the reason so many people feel lost, confused, and overwhelmed today is because their lives are filled with noise, clutter, and constant stimulation. You cannot think clearly if your mind is always drowning in distraction. You cannot see your future if your vision is always clouded by chaos. Clarity requires space, and space comes when you decide to live intentionally. When you choose intentional living, you begin to take back control of your environment. You start asking questions. Why am I doing this? Why am I watching this? Why am I spending my time here? And if the answer doesn't align with your goals, your values, or your vision, then you cut it out. That's the power of intentional living. It filters out the unnecessary so you can focus on what truly matters. Think about a magnifying glass. When the sun shines, its rays are everywhere, warm, scattered, unfocused. But when you take a magnifying glass and concentrate those rays, you can start a fire. The same is true with your life. Scattered attention warms nothing. Focused attention ignites everything. And clarity is the magnifying glass that gives your life power. But here's the catch: you won't find clarity if you're constantly reacting to the world. If your day is dictated by endless notifications, urgent emails, and the pressure to always be on, then your mind will always be cluttered. Intentional living means you stop reacting and start deciding. It means you set boundaries with your time and your attention. It means you wake up with a plan instead of waking up to someone else's agenda. Clarity also requires silence, and silence is rare in our world. But if you never pause, you'll never hear the whispers of your purpose. Sometimes you need to unplug, to disconnect, to step away, not because you're weak, but because your mind needs room to breathe. It's in silence that ideas are born. It's in stillness that creativity flows. It's in quiet that you begin to see where you're going and why you're going there. Living intentionally is not about doing more. It's about doing less, but doing it with purpose. It's about saying no to things that steal your peace so you can say yes to the things that build your future. It's about replacing noise with meaning, clutter with clarity, distraction with direction. And when you live this way, your life begins to align. You move with purpose. You think with power. You see with vision. So don't wait for mental clarity to magically appear. Create it, choose it, protect it. Because when your mind is clear, your path is clear. And when your path is clear, nothing can stop you from walking boldly into the life you were born to live. Disconnect from the noise so you can reconnect with your purpose. That is the truth most people are afraid to face. We live in a world where the noise never stops. News feeds, social media, group chats, ads screaming for your attention, notifications pulling you in every direction. And if you're not careful, that noise will drown out the very thing you need most, the voice of your own purpose. Because purpose doesn't shout, it whispers. And if your life is too loud, you will never hear it. So many people wonder why they feel empty, why they feel restless, why they feel like something is missing. It's not because they don't have potential. It's because they've lost connection with the deepest part of themselves. They've been so consumed by the noise of the outside world that they can no longer hear the truth inside. And let me tell you, your greatest breakthroughs won't come from a screen, a scroll, or a sound bite. They come when you slow down, when you disconnect, when you allow silence to speak louder than noise. There is power in stepping away, power in shutting down the constant flow of distractions, power in saying, for the next hour, for the next day, for this moment, I choose peace over chaos. Because in that stillness, your purpose begins to rise. You start to remember what matters. You start to feel again. You start to hear the call that's been waiting for you all along. Your purpose is not lost, it's waiting for you to turn down the volume of the world and turn up the volume of your heart. waiting for you to stop chasing validation online and start building value offline. Waiting for you to stop filling every second with noise and finally give yourself the space to listen. And when you reconnect with your purpose, life takes on a new dimension. Decisions become clearer, obstacles become smaller, and your energy shifts because you're no longer moving randomly, you're moving intentionally. But let's be honest, it's not easy to disconnect. The world is designed to keep you plugged in, to keep you consuming, to keep you distracted. That's why you must choose differently. You must decide to take back your attention, to create space for reflection, to set aside time for yourself. It doesn't mean abandoning everything. It means creating balance. It means carving out sacred time where nothing and no one can interrupt you. And when you do, you'll notice something powerful. Your creativity will return, your clarity will sharpen, your focus will grow stronger, and your sense of direction will become unshakable. Because when you disconnect from the noise, you reconnect with the truth. And that truth is simple. You are here for a reason. You are here with a purpose, and no amount of noise in the world can drown it out if you are willing to listen. So step back, unplug, silence the noise, because the moment you do, you will discover the voice that can guide you to the life you were always meant to live.